Hi everyone, my name is Olores Angeline Ihara and I am tasked to report about the environmental problems such as population increase, poverty, and unsustainable resource use. So when we hear the word environmental problems, so daghan kay masulod sa atong huna-huna, right? Like air pollution, deforestation, and one of the reason nga nung naatay mga environmental problems and sakit sa kamatuoran is tungod ra pud nato nga mga tawo. Some of the problem that the earth and humanity now face include population increase, poverty, and unsustainable resource use. Before I explain and elaborate to you the three environmental problems, let me read the quote from Jessie Ventura. She says that now our biggest environmental problems comes from our action, our own choices, rather than pollution produced by big business. So they said na kung unsa ang atong itanom mao po ng atong anihon. So kung unsalan may mga environmental changes or problems na atong gina-face karon is tungod ra gyapon natong mga tao, di ba? The first environmental problem is population increase. More people on Earth increases demand for resources and exacerbates every other environmental problems. So if magkadaghan ug magkadaghan na jud ang tawo diri sa kalibutan, magkajutay ug magkajutay pod ang atoong mga resources. So mulid po ni siya daghan kaayong mga environmental problems. Estimated figures suggest that the world population will be more than 9 billion by the year 2050. So imagine, 9 billion na ta diri sa kalibutan, and as I remember sa atong GA7 niingon si Sir Oy na kung maabot na daw ang year 2050, murag limited na daw kaayo ang atoong supply sa isda. Kay tungod daghan na kaayo ang mga tawo. Unsa may buhaton natong mga tawo para mabawasan ang pagtaas sa population? So, ways of addressing the problem include improved education, healthcare, family planning, tax incentives, and sex education. So, naa ay mga pamaagi para masolusyonan ning population increase. Usa na ang education. Dapat na ay family planning kay importante jud kaayo ni siya, especially sa mga tao na ganahan na magpamilya. Ang atuang tax incentives and most importantly, sex education. Importante kaayo ang sex education para maminus-minusan ang atuong population. Problems on population growth. So maunay mga problem nga atubangon if padayon ang pagdaghan sa mga tao. Number 1, food shortage. Magkajutay ang atong source sa pagkaon. Number 2, water shortage. Kung daghan na jud kaayong tao, so magkagamay ang atong supply sa tubig. And ang uban pa jud ana is na contaminated na kay tungod lagi sa kadahas tawo. Number 3, housing problem. So kay daghan naman kaayong mga tao sa naglibog sila asa sila mo puyo. So maybe katong mga lasang sa una, himuon na lamang to nilang puloy-anan. Dito na lamang sila magtukod og mga balay. So maapektuhan ang atuong environment. Number 4, unemployment. Number 5, peace and order. So kay daghan naman jud kaayo ang mga tao di na makontrol tong mga nagbuhat og mga krimen. Di na jud nato ma-maintain ang peace and order. Number 6, health problems. Samot na jud tong mga bagong gipanganak, magka-rashes. Number 7, garbage problem. So kay daghan naman kaayong mga tao, so there's a tendency na magkatambak ang mga basura. Number 8, pollution. And number 9, education. To help the citizens of our country, the government provides free elementary and secondary education to everyone. The second environmental problem is poverty. Poverty often causes people to put pressure on the environment. High death rates and lack of security in old age can lead to having more children. Difficulty in meeting community needs often leads to pressure on land. overexploitation of soils, and deforestation. And also, poverty often causes people to put relatively more pressure on the environment, which results in larger families due to high death rates and insecurity. Improper human waste disposal leading to unhealthy living conditions, more pressure on fragile land to meet their needs, overexploitation of natural resources, and more deforestations. So, poverty ang kapobrehon ug ang kawad-on mao'y usa sa mga rason nga nung naay mga tawo na ganahan mangawat, ganahan mobuhat og krimen. Usapos rason nga nung naglisod tungod kay daghan kaayo nag-member sa usa ka family. As we can see, it is very important for everyone to recognize that poverty and environmental problems are interrelated. Poverty among people puts stress on the environment, whereas environment problems cause severe suffering to the poor. So kung ang tawo madato man o pobre, ni konsume japon taog water, food, and natural resources in order to remain alive. All economic activities are directly and indirectly or remotely based on natural resources, and any pressure on natural resources can cause environmental stress. Environmental damage can prevent people, especially the poor, from having good and hygienic living standards. As poor people rely more directly on the environment than the rich for their survival, they are mostly on the receiving end of environmental problems. The third and the last one is unsustainable resource use. The rapidly growing rate of resource consumption throughout the world is unsustainable, said a United Nations report. World is unsustainable. Why? Tungod kay grabe na kayo ang paggamit sa mga natural resources. So it is the time to recognize the limits to the natural resources available to support human development and economic growth. Tungod kay gamay naman ang atong natural resources, so muset na sila og limits para ra jud na masuportahan tang mga tawo, and also para mo gimo gihapon ang atuong ekonomiya. The world is expected to consume 3 times more natural resources than current rates by 2050, unless countries can learn to do more with less, the report said. So dapat kung mogamit tas atong natural resources, dili lang usa ang iyahong magamitan kundi daghan para makasave sa atong natural resources. The report noted that the rising cost of many natural resources creates an economic imperative for both developed and developing countries to use less. So nahimo sila og economic imperative para maminus-minusan sa mga countries ang paggamit sa ilang mga natural resources. That's why we need to put to our mind that we must realize that the prosperity and well-being do not depend on consuming ever greater quantities of resources. Decoupling is not about stopping growth, it's about doing more with less. In order for all of us to survive, we need to use our natural resources wisely. Conclusion: our natural environment makes human life possible, and our cultural environment helps define who we are. It is therefore essential that our population and economic growth are environmentally sustainable. That's why, as a human being, we need to be responsible for us to have a sustainable living. These are the references of my report. That's all of my report. Thank you for listening.